We question our daily position, seeking answers and definitions. Get the queries off your chest with Ahkam SOS.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. Just a quick reminder that this is a live show. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, now the question could be in regards to any topic. We're not here to remove or censor any of these questions. With respect, if you put your question in, it's our duty to find the answers. If it's to do with a particular marja, like the ones behind me, we will do our best to contact the Grand Office and the official office of the marja and get your answers. Send your questions via either the WhatsApp, either the email address, which is ahkamsos@imamhussein.tv, or alternatively give us a call 0203 515 0199, and inshallah you can talk to us directly here and we'll be able to conversate and discuss your question. Inshallah, let us continue our discussion with multiple questions with myself, Mohsin Shah, and joining me is Sheikh Ali Ma'ash. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
How are you this evening?
Alhamdulillah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Sheikhna, I don't know if you're watching the news or not, but recently, yesterday, a company, very, very well-known technology company, their lorry got stolen and it was 5 million worth of goods taken away. Now, whatever happens, investigation is gone and so forth. If we find someone coming up to us with technology or with any product that we may think may be stolen or not stolen, but the person selling to us, he's not the thief, technically. Islamically speaking, are we still allowed to purchase this item?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. It's not permissible for the individual to sell or buy the stolen goods. These belong to its original owner. You cannot sell or buy them, and whoever has the authority over them or the hands over them, they have to return it back to its original owner. No, of course you can't buy them, they are stolen, and whoever is the is it the thief or somebody else who is selling
in possession,
yeah, they have to return to its original owner. Okay. You cannot sell or buy stolen goods at any case.
I see. Shaykh, on talking about stealing and usurping, when it comes to salah and I want to perform salah, am I allowed to perform a salah on usurped land, whether it's a building or whether it's agriculture?
Again, it is not permissible to offer salah and perform the salah in usurped lands, or to deal in that place, in terms of any kinds of dealing, moving, going upstairs, for example, coming downstairs, removing, for example, goods and so forth. Tasarruf, you can't really use anything in that place. It all belongs to somebody else, as I've said. So we cannot even enter into these places which are ghasab, usurped. And if somebody goes inside, should immediately leave the place. Mm-hmm. Salah is not, you can't actually.
So it's batil.
Of course you can't.
Oh, interesting.
The place is makhsub, is ghasab, and you can't just pray there and without the permission from its owner.
I see. Interesting, very interesting. Sheikhna, we've got a question coming from the email. Assalamu alaikum, Ahkam SOS. I have a question. I made a covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to smoke, and if I did, I would be liable to kafara. But I violated the covenant and smoked profusely. Am I liable to many kafarat? I am a muqallid of the late Sayyid Ayatollah Muhammad Shirazi rahmatullah alayh. So someone here made a covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a nadhr or a qasam, as we say, not to smoke, but has been, and if he was to smoke, he'd go for kafara. Maybe this brother or sister was trying to give up smoking, but this person has, violated his oath and, profusely he's used smoke, so he's done quite a lot. Is it one kafara? Is it a lot of kafara? Is there no kafara? What should this person do in this situation? What's the taklif on this person?
Yes, according to the Sayyid, the late Sayyid, he is not liable except for one kafara. However, this individual should return to his own marja' to see what his marja' says, if he follows, let's say, somebody else. Because other marja' have more details, they break up details with this case. In more details, some might say that you have to pay multiple kafara. So you have to see your marja', what he says about this mas'ala.
So I still refer back. Wow. Question from the WhatsApp, if you allow me. Okay, Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to ask that the music is prohibited in Islam, but we have some sort of religious nat or mankabat in which the music is also added. So it's turned off. So we hear music as well in it. So is it okay or not? So this person's asking in regards to religious themed, I won't say religious music, but let's say a religious themed song or recitation or something, and music is present in the audio. Are we still allowed to listen to it or not?
Initially, we have to see who this individual follows as a marja'. So it depends on who you follow. There are some marja' who consider all types of musics all haram, even the classical, the soothing ones, the ones which calms down. The ones.
So regardless if it's for entertainment or art or for sound effects or whatever, some classify music as a genre haram. And
as long as it's been played from the musical instruments such as guitar, piano, and so forth.
Okay.
So that's one opinion. The second opinion is that if they are not the type of entertaining, singing, dancing music, just a normal classical music, then they are allowed. So they would divide between the entertaining and non-entertaining. So if it's non-entertaining, classical, normal, then they're allowed. So again, depends on the marja' you follow.
Okay.
If he allows it, then you can. If he doesn't, let's say some marja' do ihtiyat wujubi as a obligatory precaution, that it's haram, all types of it. So you have to be able to avoid listening to music. Otherwise, if those who allow it, then that's the option available.
I see. Interesting. And yeah, likewise. I mean, I've seen, during Muharram time, Latmiyat, sometimes there's drums, there's the chimes that they use sometimes. I've even heard flutes and so forth. So depending on the marja you follow, there will be a different opinion. Shaykhna, in Islam, planting trees has been recommended. We know that for every one tree you take out, you should plant 2 trees. And furthermore, plants and in general, flowers and different sort of small plants and big trees have so much benefits in terms of, health-wise for your own health, but also to bring in natural nutrients and chemicals into your atmosphere at home. When it comes to the graveyard and gravesites, you see a lot of people come visit their marhum, they come with flowers, some of them plant, plants around their graves and their flowers and so forth, and trees. Are we allowed to actually plant trees besides the graves of the marhum?
Yes, there's no evidence that it's haram to plant a tree next to the grave of a marhum, except if it results in the insult, for example, or offense towards this deceased individual.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's allowed.
Fantastic. Shaykhna, as you know, we do discuss different opinions of different maraja. We have, mashallah, Honorable Maraja right over me, behind me over here. And in terms of His Eminence, the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani Hafadullah, what is his opinion on the Friday prayer, the Jum'ah prayer? Is it wajib or mustahab?
His Eminence mentions that Salat al-Jum'ah is wajib takhiri.
Okay.
and this is the opinion of many of the maraja today, that it's wajib takhiri. In other words, it's obligatory but optional. So you have two wajib. The first wajib is Salat al-Dhuhr. The second wajib is Salat al-Jumu'ah.
Yes.
They both are wajib. If you do one of them, then they'll be dropped. The second will be dropped.
Okay.
So you have the choice to pray Salat al-Jumu'ah or Salat al-Dhuhr.
I see.
You pray any of them, you've done your obligation, and you don't have to worry about the other salah. So wajib takhiri that the Sayyid mentions, you have the choice to choose the salah you want. Ayatollah Shirazi would go with the same opinion as well, that it's wajib takhiri, but he would say as a mustahab precaution for the one to pray Salat al-Dhuhr after he prayed Salat al-Jumu'ah. So you do the 2 rak'ah Jumu'ah with the sermons, 2 sermons. You finish, you pray Salat al-Dhuhr as a mustahab precaution again.
Okay.
And then you pray Salat al-Asr and that's it.
I see. MashaAllah. I think a lot of Maraj actually encourage people to recite the Dhuhr prayer after Jum'ah as ihtiyat. Shaykhna, when it comes to the UK and also in Europe and all over the West, we, a lot of our brothers, mashallah, and sisters as well, likewise, are business owners and they hire employees. Sometimes these employees aren't Muslim. Now, considering Kitabi, those of the Ahl Kitab, the Christians, the Jews, and the Zoroastrians, as some say, what is the ruling in regards to employing these people, whether the work is for home or in an office or in a place of business?
There is no objection for employing non-Muslims in your business or at home, as long as there is no haram associated with this employment. Also, you have to be careful about the impurity or the najasa involved. Again, it goes back to the marja' you follow, and the individual that you're employing, is he from the Ahl Kitab or non-Ahl Kitab again? So it depends really on the person you're employing and the marja' you follow. Otherwise, it's allowed.
Excellent. Shaykhna, controversial question, if I may say so, but from the email, is it permissible to probe and spy into another person's house with the intention of gathering information for the sake of enjoining good and forbidding evil? I am a muqallid of His Eminence Sheikh Wahid Khurasani, Ayatollah Wahid Khurasani, Hafidhullah. What's his opinion on this? Probing and spying on a neighbor for enjoining good and forbidding evil?
The Shaykh mentions that it is not permissible. We have the word tajassus, the spy in Holy Quran. Do not spy against others. So we shouldn't really, even if it's for the cause of enjoining good and forbidding evil, you're not allowed to jump to people's houses and search for the acts of indecency, for example. You're not allowed to do so. So the Shaykh doesn't allow this to be happen. We have to respect people's privacy.
Yes.
Unless the haram is in public, then that's a different issue. Then it comes the role of enjoining good and forbidding evil. That's a different story.
So looking after and promoting a moral morality within your own community. I guess this mainly happens in front of the house, not inside or at the back. So like you said, there's no need to be nosy and go and investigate what's going on. But it can be difficult, Sheikh, sometimes when you're living in the house and then you hear rumors, other people talking, the house next door, do you know what they're doing? Sometimes it's illegal activities, growing substances they shouldn't be growing, or, having, business which they shouldn't be having, like a casino, gambling or something like that. It can get really, really difficult. But Allahu Alam, inshallah, we pray and that everyone and their neighbors are protected, inshallah. Sheikh, we're going to go to a short break, inshallah. Join us after the break as we continue our discussion here on Ahkam SOS. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. Just a quick reminder to all our brothers and sisters watching, if you have a question you'd like to send in, please send it via the WhatsApp. send it via an email, ahkamsos@imamhussein.tv. Or alternatively, why not give us a call here in the studio where me and the Sheikh will be more than happy to discuss your question. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sheikhna, we were discussing questions and so forth, and the next question rolls around about, you could say, concealing one's bad habits and so forth. What is the ruling of an individual who keeps quiet about the bad habits of other individuals and so forth? So this brother or sister may have seen something in regards to the shortcomings of another believer. What is the hukm here?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. If the habit is one of those kind of haram habits, prohibited habits, then it becomes mandatory and wajib for the individual to enjoin good and forbid evil. When it becomes apparent, then now you have to go and try to forbid the evil and apply the good habits and encourage others to do the good and moral acts.
Wow. Difficult though, Sheikhna, being in a situation like that, because obviously you don't also want to embarrass the person who's indulging in this. So, and that person as well, when they see you, they think, oh, I've been caught. I shouldn't be in this place, or I shouldn't be doing this act, or, especially when it's in public, because then, it's for everyone to see. Anyone could have seen you, perform or do this act. So, yeah, it's not an easy one, but like you said, enjoining in good and forbidding evil, inshallah, may Allah give us all the strength to be able to practice that. Sheikhna, if an individual gives a craftsman something to fabricate, to make a copy of, and then this person says, okay, I'll be back in a week, 2 weeks, but he doesn't return. It's been, let's say, a month now. The craftsman goes out of his way to find this person. Do you know this person? I have to make something for him. Maybe there was an address left or a telephone number. He's ringing the telephone number, no answer. Goes to the address, the person's not there, and so forth. When this person is absolutely hopeless that he won't be able to get in contact with the person, and the craftsman is hopeless that he won't be able to get in contact with this person, what is the ruling? What is the craftsman to do here?
In this case, you should give it to the Ahkam SOS, to the marja' that he follows, for example, to the mujtahid, to the marja', as a rad madalim, on behalf of this individual, the owner. Or he can take the ijazah and the permission to dispose of it. So either way you can basically in somehow if you can't give it back, because as I've said, the one should basically try his best to find a way to reach that individual, but otherwise then he can take this ijazah and dispose of it.
I see. Shaykhna, earlier we mentioned about trees and plants and so forth. Shaykhna, what is one to do when there is a tree, let's say on my land, but the roots of it go on to my next door neighbor's land? So the roots are in someone else's property. What is to be done in this situation?
If they are causing damage to the other side, then they have the permissibility to prevent it. And if they cause damage, then they can actually ask for compensation for the damages.
Oh, wow.
You have to make sure you protect your own garden and avoid destroying other people's lands.
So I see. So this is like when you have a tree and the roots start to grow towards other people's property. Maybe the branches are going over the fence and so forth, as long as there's no damage.
And this applies to those who have fields, farms. Again, if you have cattle, if you have herds of, let's say, types of animals, that they might cross the boundary and go and, for example, ruin other people's lands and the crops, then, of course, that will be considered as well.
I see. Sheikhna, in the world of magic, if you call it magic, a lot of it is as games, trickery, sleight of hand. Now, are we as Muslims, are we allowed to, indulge in such things, learn? It could be just, entertainment. sometimes with little young children, young kids, we'll be able to pull a chocolate coin out of their ear or something, or be able to make something disappear and reappear and so forth. Learning these tricks and this sleight of hand, is this okay?
There's no objection to them as long as there's no haram involved within them. As I've said, when there's haram involved, then you have to avoid it. But in general, it's just a game, skills, hand skills, movements, quick movements, should be fine.
Shaykhna, we as Muslims, we are encouraged to give sadaqah. And I'm aware of most of the viewers are always involved with Imam Hussein TV and also other charities associated with Imam Hussein TV in giving sadaqah and regularly giving sadaqah, which are going towards the poor in Karbala. What are the etiquettes of giving sadaqah, Shaykhna?
Initially, it's mustahab to give sadaqah to the person who seeks financial help. He knocks on your door, for example. He seeks, or he calls you, for example, seeking financial help. It's mustahab to help them. And it's makruh to refuse them. Even if one thinks that they may not be in need of it. Mm-hmm. So always try to respond in somehow to the request, and somehow try to help them. But it's makruh for the other side as well, to seek financial help. In other words, to beg.
I see.
For them, to beg is not the right way to gain money and financial help. Aid. You can go and work, for example. You can find a very simple job and work. That's what Islam encourages, that the one who has no job, he should go and find to have talent, for example, and work, rather than stretching one's hand and begging people. So that's not really accepted. And if the individual is not in need of it, then it's haram.
I see.
You're rich, but you're still used to begging. That's haram. But if you're in need of it, makruh. So better to find a job.
Yes.
And join this, the community of businesses and workers. That's the best solution. There's a hadith from Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salam with regard to those who give sadaqah, who give charity, supporting channels like this blessed channel, Imam Hussein TV, and other channels and other projects. The Imam Salamullah alayhi says, Sadaqatu as-sir tutfi ghadab al-Rabb. Paying the sadaqah secretly repels the anger of Allah Azza wa Jal. And of course, when it comes to mustahab in overall, it's good to do it secretly. The wajib, go to the mosque, pray jama'ah for the wajib salah. Khums, pay it, in public, that's fine. So others are encouraged to do the wajib. But for the mustahabat, like namaz al-shab, night prayer, pray it secretly at home. For example, paying sadaqah secretly again. These mustahabat, we try to do it secretly. It's for ourselves. The second hadith from Imam Al-Baqir alayhi salam, he says that al-bir wa sadaqah, doing good and paying sadaqah, has three advantages. Number one, yanfiyan al-faqr, repels poverty, removes poverty. Number one.
Okay.
وَيَزِيدَانْ فِي الْعُمُرِ, increases the one's age and life. Number three, وَيَدْفَعَانْ سَبْعِينَ مِيتَةَ سُوء, and repels and pushes away 70 types of evil death, let's say.
Okay.
In which the one dies in a bad way, so in a very horrible way. So 7 types of deaths would be, evil deaths would be repelled and pushed away. So important for us to pay sadaqah, even a very small amount. You don't have to give £100. You start with a few pennies and then pounds and so forth.
I see. Inshallah. And we pray that to all the community, all the brothers and sisters watching, inshallah, that they can, give and increase their sadaqat, inshallah, because of the so much benefits that it actually helps with our, those who are needy, and also with ourselves, removing such bala from our lives. Shaykhna, when asking for sadaqah and also charity, and when we have charities and we have different organizations doing charitable work, are we allowed to accept money? Sometimes it's a big amount, a large amount, from those people who represent professions or who work in professions which are technically not halal. مثلا, if someone wants to donate some money and is from selling pork or alcohol, maybe someone wants to donate money from, he has a casino or so forth, or is involved in the film industry and so forth like that. These people who have haram businesses, can we accept charitable gifts from them?
Well, if it's not known that this money received is from the haram source, from the forbidden source, there's no harm to receive such money, as long as there's no evidence which says that this particular money which was given is from this haram, by selling pork, for example, or alcohol, for example. So it should be fine to receive such money, even if we know that this individual works in an environment which he receives or deals with haram goods and money and so forth.
Shaykh, a question came in from the email. Assalamu alaikum. I have a question in regards to gold. If one sells gold in exchange with gold or silver with silver, minted or otherwise, is this type of transaction valid? So someone is selling, maybe they have a gold bar and they want to sell it, or have a transaction with, where they don't receive cash but they receive gold coins instead, maybe it's the same weight or so forth, or silver for silver. Such transactions, Islamically speaking, are these valid?
Well, if one of them is more than the other in terms of the weight, so one is 100 grams and the other is 120 grams, for example, heavier than the other, then it's not valid transaction and it's haram as well.
Okay.
The extra is like usury, like taking riba. So you're not allowed to sell gold if one is, or exchange gold if there's a difference in terms of the weight.
Shaykhna, what are the prerequisites required for the lottery for it to be like Islamically valid? I do know roughly, I've read up on this, that certain maraja, certain scholars have actually allowed under circumstances lottery to be, you can participate in it. What are those prerequisites?
Well, if the money raised is spent on the charitable and such like projects, and the winners are given, cash or as prizes, for example, and not profits. It's the difference between you give as a price or as a profit, as a share of the profit of the lottery. So if it's just given prices, hadaya, there's no objection to that. I
see. So yeah, we see, mashallah, in some of the centers of they have like a raffle and so forth. So, it's like, is the raffle allowed or not? Technically, are you buying a lottery ticket or not? But as you said, it's fundraising for the community, the money's going to charitable events. Also, it's not for, the profits aren't used to pay for prizes or so forth. It's all done within, a good cause. So inshallah, everything's okay. Then you guys can donate more, inshallah. Sheikh, my final question from the WhatsApp. I have a question regarding keeping pictures of scholars at home. Is this allowed or not? Now, if you remember, Monday, we discussed having the pictures of the Maraja, the Honorable Maraja here over my shoulder, and also you have the Honorable Sayyid Sadiq behind yours. In the mosque, you were saying that, it is better not to have them, considering people pray there, and they should be covered with prayers, and when you're praying, they should be covered and so forth. What about in the household? A lot of our people use our Maraja as a sources of inspiration. I'm sure you're aware that to look at the scholar is a form of ibadat, and to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so forth. So there's many benefits of having a picture of a marja or of a grand scholar, and also having it in your household. Is this acceptable? Is this allowed?
Yes, there's no objection in terms of keeping the pictures of the maraja at your home on the wall, hanged. But the thing is that while praying, if you want to start praying salah, having that picture on the wall exposed, and it's makruh. So the best solution is to cover that picture with a small curtain or
piece of cloth or something,
a cloth, whatever, just to cover it, and then you start your salah.
I see.
So it's just for the salah purpose to cover that picture.
So when
otherwise you can have it.
Let's be clear. When you say salah, is it in the same room, or is it like on the right side, left side, behind, or in front?
In that room.
In the room.
Yeah,
okay.
in that room. Yeah,
okay.
You have that picture of that human being, then it's makruh to pray in that room. So best thing to cover it and you can pray.
So that also probably goes for pictures of your family members as well, and other pictures
Photo
of different
players,
people.
for example.
Yeah, posters of, okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Sheikh Nan. Thank you for all the viewers for joining us on this episode of Ahkam SOS. If you have a question you'd like to ask, and there's nothing silly, there's nothing taboo, any question that you like to ask, we don't need to know your name or where you're asking from, send in your question via the WhatsApp, send it in via the email address, send it in, or call us, inshallah. You can call us here live in the studio, and we'll be more than happy to do our research and also to find your answer, inshallah. Join us again on Monday for another live show of Ahkam SOS here on Imam Hussein TV 3. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
We question our daily position, seeking answers and definitions. Get the queries off your chest with Ahkam SOS.